Over 80% of our profits are related directly to the oil and gas industry. We don't have those big container ships you see in Houston. We don't have that, and we have less fog bays in Houston. So those three things really differentiate us from the other ports in Texas and helps us remain competitive. As far as future growth for the port, as with anything, we've got to look beyond oil and gas to a certain extent, because with the stroke of a pen, that export ban could be gone. And then what? And so we've got to look at diversifying our revenue, bringing in more cargo. If you've ever driven from Corpus to San Antonio, you see those wind turbines. Odds are those came to the Port of Corpus. They're going to West Texas, right? So we've got a lot of wind cargo, we've got a lot of break bulk, we got a lot of military movements that come through the port. So we're over 15% of our revenue is non-oil and gas. I'd like to see it north of 20%, 25%, just to have more diversification. But as we look at what does the future hold, we look to see if this administration is going to be around for 8 years, 12 years. But we don't know when we're going to have an administration that's friendly again for the oil and gas industry. What can we do to continue to be the energy port of the Americas? And some of the things that we're looking at are carbon capture. How can we help our customers? We're looking at LNG bunkering. How can we have those ships fueled with LNG instead of diesel to reduce air emissions? We're looking at that. We're looking, can we bring battery storage and solar to help power some of the massive industrial operations that are on port property? So we're looking towards the future because we know the future is here now. And if we don't start planning for that, we will have problems competing with other ports. You will see in the next 2 weeks 2 very exciting press releases on the things I just talked about. And you'll say, hey, I heard about that first. But I can't divulge any more details, and we'll see that coming through. But we also signed an MOU with the Port of Rotterdam. The Port of Rotterdam is kind of the Port of Corpus in Europe. A lot of the oil that leaves the Port of Corpus goes to the Port of Rotterdam and is distributed to all of Europe. Port of Rotterdam is kind of like in California. It is a very clean, very environmental sensitive area. And if you've ever been to the Netherlands, you know how clean that country is. It's very pristine. But we just signed a memorandum of understanding with them to talk about best practices. How can we emulate what they're doing and go above and beyond what the state and the federal government requires of us? So that's a very exciting opportunity for us. We're going to take a trip there in November to learn more about it firsthand. But again, if we don't take those steps now, we're going to be left out behind because other ports are looking at what we're looking at, and we want to be way ahead of the curve before we lose out and we lose the title of the energy port of America. So with that, I know I want to get back to the socializing. It's so great to not be behind a Zoom camera or a Teams call. It's great to shake hands, great to see people. This is something that was long overdue. Kym, I don't think I've been in one of these in about a month, over a year since the pandemic hit. So it's great. It's good to be out and good to see new faces as well too. So as Shale Magazine and TEAC continue to have these events, please spread the word on social media to your friends, send a text, because when we go through permits at the federal level or at the state level, you get thousands of people in opposition, and you get 5 or 6 that are in favor.
Can you talk about Phillips 66?
Yeah, so Phillips 66 is doing an offshore buoy project, Bluewater Texas terminal, where they have their tank facility in the Taft Midway area. And they're going to run 2 pipes to Harbor Island, and then from Harbor Island they're going to run 21 miles of pipe out into the Gulf and do these through a floating monobuoy project. So these VLCCs will come into a water depth of 90 feet. They'll fill up the 2 million barrels, turn around, and never come into the port. But this project is in partnership with the port, and they are competing with 4 other projects along the Texas Gulf Coast, Freeport, Beaumont, and I think Houston has one as well too. So it's a race to see who gets permitted. But this permitting process has several different phases that you need and lots of public comment. And when Kym has been very helpful and some of the TEAC members to get on these calls, and when they hear, the opposition gets all riled up. It's amazing to hear when she's talking the facts and the opposition is talking of scientific evidence that's not proven that these projects would be bad. They send, the last public hearing, I forget what the term was, I think it was an air permit for Phillips 66, they had 22,000 letters. Now those are robo letters, let me be clear, they're robo letters, they're form letters, but they got 22,000 people to put their name on something or send an email. I mean, that's impressive. On a project that has minimal footprint to Corpus, San Patricio County, or Port Aransas. The pipes are all underground. They're going to put an office on Harbor Island. The tank farm is in rural San Patricio County, and yet that kind of opposition has mounted. It's nonstop. It is nonstop for not only at the port, but all industrial development that is happening in the entire state. And it's going to continue. So it's organizations like TEAC that I hope to see in the next 2 or 3 years, if not sooner, take off and say, hey, I'm a member of TEAC. It's free to join. It's sponsored by the Port Corpus. It's sponsored by Aggreko. We thank you, Aggreko, for all that you're doing for this. This is a very critical mission. I like to think of it as my baby. It's our baby. It's everybody's organization here. And the more people that we can get lined up to support oil and gas, the more effective we will be, and the more recognized we will be. And Kym will get, and one day hopefully retire and say, "I did TEAC." You know, he's always threatening to retire on me. But you know, TEAC is one of those things that we dusted off when we needed it. It was there. It's always been there. But only when we would have these key hearings or we had an issue, we could bring it out. But I want it to stay relevant all the time, because guess what? These trade associations, they have several members. And they have, even though Phillips 66 is a member of these trade associations, they don't want to talk about supporting this project because Enterprise is a member, Enbridge is a member, Energy Transfer is a member. They're all competing with Phillips 66. So you don't get the support of these industry trade associations because it's member driven. This is not member driven. This is, again, our organization. We support all the oil and gas. So with that, I'll be quiet and answer any questions you may have. Yes, sir. Oh, James, thank you for that question. I really appreciate it. I'm going to buy you a beer after this. So if any of you have been to Corpus, you've seen the Harbor Bridge. You've probably been over the Harbor Bridge, and you've seen the construction of the new bridge. That new bridge is not being built because of the Port of Corpus Christi. We needed a new bridge. Everybody in town thinks that bridge is being built for the port and that bigger ships are going to come in. Those VLCCs stop in Ingleside. You could get a ship into the inner harbor, but you couldn't turn them around in the turning basin. So the biggest ship we can get is a Suezmax right now. Has the bridge had an effect on port operations? No, not at this time. The only thing it has caused us is our brand new office, our $40 million building, is right underneath that bridge. So I want to be there when that bridge comes down to ensure that my new office doesn't get hit, right? So what has happened is that we own a lot of the land, the right of way that was for that bridge, the old bridge. We want to redevelop that. So it has cost us a little money, and we've had to put some project on the back burner because we don't have that land back yet. TxDOT has not given us back that land until that bridge comes down. But the port's role in this new bridge is there was a predominantly African American community underneath the bridge, located on the right of way of the new bridge. And the port undertook a first of kind of its own buyback program. We brought those homes to those residents at fair market value and then above. Then gave them money to move and buy a new home or go into an apartment. So we bought over 300 homes, and we needed that for the right of way of that bridge because TxDOT didn't have the money to do it. So James, not too many people know that, but that bridge is not fully funded yet. And with some of the things that we're seeing coming out of Austin, we are concerned. We are very concerned that bridge will not be fully funded, and we need a new bridge. It's not for the port; it's for the region. That's an old bridge. So good question. Thanks for helping me clarify that with some folks here.
We need a couple of billionaires to fund some money. We got a few in Corpus.
Yes. Any other questions? I mean, after what I took last night, any questions here is going to be easy.
How can a company join TEAC and support it, and how can they join it? They're not a member yet.
So just go to the website. If for anybody that wants to join it, go to that free membership. It's on the website. If you're a company, there are corporate membership levels, and your logo will be placed on all marketing activity. And the benefit to an individual company, if that individual company has an issue or needs help with public advocacy, this is what this is for. And this is a much more cost-effective option than going to some of the trade associations. They're going to charge you $25,000, $50,000, or even $100,000 to join. This is probably your most cost-effective option that can get you results immediately with the database of supporters that Kym already has. So I would encourage everybody, if you're not an official member, please do that tonight when you get back to your computer.
That's great. Anything else?
Yes, sir, Bruce. So the question Bruce asked is the Port of Rotterdam going to come visit Corpus? The answer is yes, but we're more eager to go see them first because believe it or not, the folks in the Netherlands are not vaccinated yet. They're having a lot of problems getting the vaccine over there. They're thinking by August they'll get to the levels that we are here in the United States. So we're going to go see them first. But the intent is for them to come in first quarter of 2022.
Some things for it personally actually doesn't matter. For example, if they over the tanks that we have here.
Yes.
They don't.
That's good to know. I did not know that.
Yeah, fish in those stations, they don't have the backup time. Buckeyes, they don't have that.
Wow.
So there are things you can teach them as well.
It's good to know, Bruce. And on that note, I'll leave you with this. Our environmental initiatives are second to none, and it's always been corporate social responsibility. Now it's environmental social governance. That was a new buzzword at the White House, so everybody had to change the ESG, right? If you've ever been to the Texas State Aquarium and you've been to that dolphin exhibit, has anybody been to Texas State Aquarium? Okay. That water is taken directly from the ship channel because that is how clean that water is. And that is a testament to the policies of our customers and the Port of Corpus Christi. That water is so clean that it goes into the Dolphin exhibit of the Texas State of Portland. That's something that we love to talk about because that is a phenomenal thing to market, that we're keeping Texas oil out of Texas water.